looking to make a difference here in the ACC about midway through this conference play.
That's it, 1 p.m. kick. Beautiful weather here. Stadium packed, and we're underway. Boston College in the all-maroon kits. Florida State wearing the all-white. Just like that, Florida State up pressing. Here's Van Zanten. Now EY. Florida State dominant in possession their last game. One of their best of the season, over 60%. Their 2-0 win versus Louisville.
In fact, Brian Pensky said it was their best possession game of the entire season, Jack. It's part of this transformation, kind of a metamorphosis of Florida State being a little bit more of a direct team now, based off of what Brian Pensky likes to do. From his days in Tennessee, more direct play, not so much possession, but they're kind of blending it a little bit more together here and kind of, still take what the opponent gives you, but they definitely controlled much of the tempo against the Cardinals on Thursday.
That's been the goal for Brian Pensky. As you said, Trevor, take care of that possession. Florida State all of the ball this far. Nodded back. It's Christina Roque. I mean, we talked about Vivka for Boston College. 2 dominant keepers on either side. Now EY over the top. Beata Olsen, a different position for her today, out wide in this 4-3-3, usually up top in the number 9 role for the Swede. Zechagini tries to find inside. There's a good play. Sonia Walk. She'll have to be on her P's and Q's in the midfield. That's someone Jason Lowe told us, Trevor. He wants to see her more on the ball and be a playmaker for Boston College.
Yeah, Sonia's been in this BC program for 4 years now, and she's been a starter for all 4 years, so she certainly has the requisite experience to really take control of a game when needed. And so Sonia Walk there, their holding midfielder, she only has 21 career shots, so she's definitely the anchor in the midfield in terms of defensive preparation and performance.
There's a different look, too, for Florida State. As I mentioned, Beata Olsen moving out on that right wing, seeing her tracking back on defense. Now Van Zanten.
Right now, BC really agitating Florida State, trying to corner.
A lot of pressure.
Right there, you see a turnover right by the corner spot, and BC's rewarded for their persistence as you take a look back at Jason Lowe. He's been in the ACC for quite some time here, Jack, obviously with his days in Wake Forest, but he's also been in the SEC, opposite of Brian Pensky as his time as an assistant at Alabama.
Still searching for that first ACC win this season. Corner swung in, knocked out of the box. And Nesbeth trying to clear. Sent back in from Thomas. Roque will clear. So you mentioned, Trevor, Boston College pressing up. What are some of the keys for them today to come out here with a victory?
Well, keep your communication up. You have to, be on your P's and Q's against Florida State. They are going to try and have a fast pace, so you have to slow them down. So talk out there, make sure you're in your right spots, and don't get out of your shape, because Florida State will definitely like to move the pace and get you out of position. Offensively, they have to find the wide spaces and get themselves into the wide areas, because they were actually very successful in the times against Notre Dame on Thursday. They really found some spaces and some spells of possession by working the ball outside from the midfield and getting some runs. So try and see if you can exploit Florida State's defense that way by starting out wide, and also get some more quality services into the box when you have opportunities at set pieces.
You see so far that ball will go out for a goal kick. Boston College early on, 5 minutes into this game, relentless pressure on that back line for the Seminoles. And our head referee, J.C. Rivero, called that a foul on Olsen.
This is to be expected for Boston College. They came out firing out of the gates in the first 5 minutes, got the opening goal against Notre Dame off a shot from Emily Sapienza, who has made the save, but then Ella Richards took advantage and scored it right in the back of the net easily. Boston College understands, this is the time in the first half where you can take advantage. Florida State's not at their strongest this year in the opening 45. This is the time where you would want to take advantage and get a leg up on the #2 team in the country.
Yeah, and this is a Boston College team coming off arguably one of their best performances of the year. Here's the ball, Jordan Dudley chasing after. Villebrand able to clear. Coming off, although they lost to Notre Dame, still coming off a great performance. Jason Lowe was telling us he was proud of what their team was able to do, as you're mentioning, Trevor. So this is a team that's fired up.
That was the word. That was the word he used. Fired up in terms of the mental state of his team coming into this weekend. Look, when you go on the road, you already have the challenge of facing 2 top-ranked opponents in Notre Dame and Florida State, so you better get fired up. But this is a team that's made of the right DNA.
There's a ball from Taylor Huff, trying to connect with Jody Brown on the back post. Sydney Zagala, the track star, able to track it down. Here's Echegini. Jody Brown in the box. Brown. Right back at it.
Beautiful passing inside and outside the box. Echegini feeding Jody Brown. You see a lot of numbers moving and shifting there, but Dudley just gets inside positioning on Kenna Thomas on the near side here on your screen. Just does a nice job, and it's an easy touch. No chance for Villebrand, and the Noles getting a big-time early goal here in the first half. Kind of rare this season, but Jordan Dudley once again strikes for the Seminoles.
The freshman phenom. No goal in the first half the past previous 2 games for the Seminoles. So for Brian Pensky, the start you want. That's exactly what he was talking about with us during the week. But that's also Trevor switching the formation, going from that 4-4-2 now back to a 4-4-3, what the Seminoles and Florida State are comfortable with. And that's it right there. Jody Brown on the outside, feeding Dudley.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job right there in that sequence of some off-the-ball movement a little bit. And they're working it fast. You can see just the movement for Florida State. They just have tremendous athletes. Jody Brown, you saw working right there. Oni Echegini, just amazing turning and composure in chaos in the midfield right there as she's getting closer to the box, but she's making spaces for herself. She's not just standing like a statue with the ball trying to look for somebody. She's creating it with her movement.
Oh, good little move, Ron Ely. Ball's on a string, puts it in behind now Olsen. Into the side of the net. So Florida State creating chances early. Here's another look.
Yeah, just working it outside. Jody Brown's left all alone, and that draws the eyes of several BC defenders, and all the while on the backside, Jordan Dudley not staying stationary, not just watching the play happen. She gets into a position where, oh, wait a minute. Brown's going to maybe either shoot or pass. I better get to my spot and find something on the opposite side. Brilliant job thinking with her head and then finishing it on the one touch.
Here's Douglas pressed up by Olsen, out for a throw. Good interception. Laura Govin. Another one of those midfielders, Trevor, that Jason Lowe was talking, that's got to get on the ball more and play make. It's a key part for Boston College in that midfield, taking defenders on one-on-one.
Well, she's also, she's very obviously engaged on defense. BC's kind of been on their heels most of the season, but for Govin, she also has a sneaky, really good, strong right foot, and she actually showcased that in the last game against Notre Dame. Had a chance at goal, and it took a miraculous save by the Irish to keep that ball from going in. So Govin certainly has a lot of skill, shooting, but she really is known a lot for her vision and her outlet distribution as well. So really, I think really the key right there, and as we saw for the goal, the midfielders for BC have to be engaged. They have to agitate the likes of Oni Echegini and Taylor Huff today.
Yeah, Govin led this team in assists last season with 4. Also still working her way back from injury. That Notre Dame game on Thursday for the Eagles was her first full 90 this season. So now she seems to be back in top shape. Still the high press on. for Boston College, making it tough for Florida State to get out of their own end.
Yeah, this is not a time to panic if you're the Eagles. There's still plenty of time in this game. Still stick with your game plan, but you do have to capitalize on your opportunities with the ball. Be very smart, methodical with it. Jason Lowe did say, you know, one of the areas that BC's improved most this season from the start to now is their composure on the ball. It's led to more spells of possession. They just need to do a better job of finishing and getting deeper into the box, which, you know, they've been really have a really low goal total this year, in particular in the ACC, with only 2 through 5 games. And really the problem right now that he sees that they need to correct is just to get closer to goals. You know, they get a little bit too eager, too worked up and trying to shoot, like thinking they need to score immediately to stay in games or to equalize. Just need to, you know, work through and just find more numbers into the box and maybe connect another pass that sets up an easier goal-scoring opportunity.
Yeah, it's not been an easy road for Boston College, as it is for any team in the ACC. As tough as they come, the competition is pretty incredible. Here's a restart of play. Back to Roquet.
Well, I mean, who have they played? I mean, you look at, you know, their ACC opening slate. On, you know, they get Duke, Virginia Tech, Clemson, and Pitt. Then Notre Dame.
Now here's Boston College for a chance. Ron Ewai getting in. So the second corner of the game for the Eagles.
Good play by Strycek, working her way, carving through a little bit of Florida State's back line. But I mean, yeah, Boston College has played so much tough competition early on. They're hoping they can take advantage of maybe a couple other games coming up on their schedule, like Louisville and Wake, but still got Carolina too.
That's it. So Emily Sapienza takes the corner. On the head of Segala. That one will roll out for a goal kick.
Yeah, BC really likes the in-swinging ball a lot on these corners, but they certainly will work to have some of their playmakers back outside, a little bit outside the 6 a little bit for a header opportunity like that for Segala. Ella Richards as well will be posted up there typically. So it's really a strategy of rebounding off that first touch and maybe a punch out by the keeper for them to take advantage on those corner kicks.
Van Zanten feeling the pressure still from the Eagles. The retain possession, Sapienza now. There's Nesbeth. Feeds it up top, now Dudley. It's all her, cuts inside. Taylor off. Try to get back to that left foot. Unable to do so, Van Zanten will keep it in. Now Jody Brown, Jamaican national team star. Beata Olsen. Nesbeth tries to find Huff, cutting in. But there she is, Vivka Villebrandt, able to corral.
Very clustered in the center for BC. Allowed them to get a chance to recompose themselves. Florida State trying to work their way back into the middle for a shot. Probably could have kept it on the outside for an easier shot at goal. It all started by number 13, Leilani Nesbeth, as you see there. She has done such an amazing job in the run of play, setting things up, getting things started to charge Florida State's attack on those direct runs to goal.
Nesbeth has been so crucial, moved into that 6 role last year, commanded the midfield, has done the same this year. A key piece for Brian Penske. As well, the defense for Florida State without Heather Gilchrist.
Florida State can ill afford to have another injury or another player go down on that back line. They've already lost Claire Rain for the season. Gilchrist out today. But it's been a line that's done a nice job in these last 2 games.
Yeah, here we go. Echegini finds Olsen. Back post. Just a little in front of Taylor Huff. A good idea from the Seminoles. Retain possession. Now Dudley. Defended by Segala. They'll say that ball hit the goal line.
Get another look at this run. Olsen's left wide open here on the outside. Beautiful through ball. Just out of the reach of Huff. Do you get a foot on that? With a little bit of pace and redirection, that might go in as well. Olsen's just still trying to find that 2021 form where she had 14 goals for Florida State. Obviously the collection of talent with what the Seminoles possess with Oni Echegini and Jody Brown. Everybody's going to get their touches.
Now EY, good little ball over the top, finds Taylor Huff. Leads this team in assists. Huff, Olsen. They'll say Villebrandt gets a touch on the ball. Good save from the German. Florida State, first corner of the game.
This time Olsen kind of finds herself back into the middle where she's used to. It's an awkward shot. Villebrandt still, though, has to put a touch on it to be sure. So the German international getting a workload here in the opening 15 minutes. Seminoles continuing to add pressure. Hope to take advantage here on a corner.
Here's Huff. Lost that ball. Presenting back to Flynn. Kenna Thomas busy on that left flank. You wind to Nesbeth. Nesbeth in the middle. Great save, Villebrandt. Off her line, diving out.
Heads up play by Villebrandt. It's not so much a shot that Nesbitt's going for, it's a cross because she had two Seminoles there vying for a header or a one-touch in the backside. Villebrandt not leaving anything to chance. This is a beautiful job by Nesbitt of letting the ball flow to the end line. That way it can draw BC's defenders over to her, opening up the center. But Villebrandt getting all 6'0", that tall frame to get the hands on the ball.
Yeah, Emily mentioned in our open some of the special things about Villebrandt, but so much praise about her when talking to Jason Lowe and what she's been able to accomplish in her career at Boston College. She's just a keeper that can keep them in games with what she's able to do. We saw the saves early on. You saw the save now as a foul is called. That'll go against Claire Mency.
Well, not only is she incredibly skilled, she's incredibly tough, too. Against Notre Dame, she took a hard hit from Notre Dame's Morgan Roy as she slid into the ball, and Villebrandt came aggressively off her line, and they collided very hard, and Villebrandt had to be taken out of the game, but she was able to walk off under her own power, but right back in today. Just a special human being with over 200 career saves, making her 50th career start today.
Now in the box.
And as you can see, great positioning too, Jack.
Great positioning. Beata Olsen getting it started. Finding Jody Brown. That shot just right into the gloves of Villebrandt.
Seminoles really doing a brilliant job of working the outside spaces, crossing in, and they're getting some shots off too. Still only 1-0, but Seminoles right now with all the momentum. As BC is just really working the inside. They don't really want Florida State to attack them directly. They know Florida State wants to do that. Problem is the Seminoles have made a living in their history of working the outside and getting possession and runs going that way too.
Now Taylor Huff making it hard for the freshman Bella Douglas. Echegini. EY finds Olsen. Bella Douglas working hard. Douglas again, another player, Jason Lowe. Nothing but praise for. The freshman came in ready and prepared. He said it would be a travesty if she's not on that all-ACC freshman team.
Douglas already with a goal and assist this year. She's definitely came in really prepared and working. She has a great motor though too. She is an absolute workhorse, starting every game this season, and her 1v1 defending in particular is what's standing out on that left side. And it's earned her a lot of playing opportunities here for the Eagles.
Especially having to take on Taylor Huff. Now with Strycek. Sapienza tries to get around Nesbeth. We'll say Nesbeth with a foul on the play, so Boston College taking over. Trevor, you've seen those chances already created for Florida State. Maybe it's just that change. They've been going from 4-3-3 to 4-4-2. Now back to that 4-4-3 tonight. Maybe you think that's opening up those channels on the wings and crossing it inside?
Well, I think because BC has mainly had a three back line, a three-person back line for the most part. They're kind of having Kenneth Thomas here on the left side, kind of work up the wing more, inserting into the midfield a little bit more. So with only 3 backers on the last line of defense, it allows you to get wide, and you can have your attackers like Beata Olson, Jody Brown really find some engagement there, and they're just working it outside. When you give Florida State space to operate by themselves, you're asking for a tough day.
Yeah.
And so far, BC just cannot get out of the blocks. They're trying to find some spells of possession here and some quality time on the ball, but they have to connect passes better.
That was it versus Louisville for Florida State in connecting passes. Over 560 passes they connected on. Now here's Strycek with a shot. Roque. Good diving save from the senior goalkeeper. First shot of the game for Boston College.
Rare mistake here by EY. Strycek gets a jump on the ball. A little bit outside, obviously, the 18. You'd like to see a little bit deeper, but can't blame her for taking the shot with a couple of Florida State defenders bearing down on her. Those are the chances that BC is going to need to capitalize on, but excellent job of Roque diving to her right.
Now Brown tries to find Huff, touch behind her. Richards out wide to Douglas. EY covering. Douglas back inside. Finds Strycek in the box. That header goes wide, so some more chances coming for Boston College.
Yeah, Strycek, good quality thus far here in these last 2 sequences. And with the right foot there with the header, good turn on that head as well to kind of get it not quite on frame, but from where she was positioned, that's a very difficult job to adjust the trajectory of the ball.
Strycek transfer from Alabama. 2 goals, 2 assists this season for her. Played in all 27 games for the Crimson Tide last season. Good pickup for Jason Lowe. There's Sigala. Rips the ball away from Van Zanten. Back to Strycek. Sigala again. This time Mechagini there helping out, clears it away. Ball working back. Dudley, pressure all over Douglas. Ball flying around at the top of the box. Call a foul on Sapienza. Here's a look at the roster breakdown for Boston College. Relatively young team, Trevor. 9 freshmen, 8 sophomores. As we mentioned, it's a team searching for that first win of the ACC this year, but a lot of youth on this team.
Yeah, they're really trying to depend on their attackers who have more of the veteran experience in this lineup. And, you know, obviously those young players still looking for some time. A lot of them right now on the bench learning, and they have a lot to learn from. You know, with Ella Richards up top as a junior, she's been really the workhorse. She's really been the standout star for BC. She leads, obviously, this team with 5 goals. Claire Mency, though, in the back as a grad student, is the captain of the Eagles here, usually wearing that yellow armband.
Jason Lowe is joking with us. It's nice when you have a 23-year-old on the back line as the captain. It's invaluable. Mency was a 2-year captain over at Bucknell University. Patriot League champs there with them in 2021.
There's certainly a lot of veteran and veteran experience in the upperclassmen are on this team starting. You know, you look in the midfield with Govin and Walk. Both of them are seniors. So they're really depending on that leadership here to start things off, and really just is going to come down to, you know, if Jason Lowe can find somebody here who can maybe stand out in practice or maybe give him a chance to light a spark. You know, we mentioned Bella Douglas. She's one of those players. Sydney Segala has certainly come in and done a nice job with her transition into defense. You know, she's usually midfield forward. Does a nice job of being in support as well.
Now let's send it down to Emily on the sideline.
Yeah, Jack, you mentioned Mency and her experience. The team agrees. They don't know what they would do if she never joined this team. She's like the team mom. They say she's one of the brightest and best players out there on the field, and they're the first person, she's the first person they go to when they need advice for anything.
You gotta love it. The team mom, Clara Mency, holding down that back line for Boston College. There's Douglas. Intercepts from Olsen. Inside, Streisek. Esbeth getting physical, no foul. Still with Streisek. There's the sophomore, Kenna Thomas. UI will send that away.
This is a good time, though, for Boston College with the ball. They're going to have to be very fast. They're going to have to be quick. But there's a turnover. It goes right to the feet of Dudley.
Now here's Dudley, where she's dangerous. On the break. Oh, Paige Dudley! And you wouldn't expect it. She's been so clinical this season. Looks like she's asking for a foul, maybe a hair pull on that break. Just wide of the target for the freshman.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was a hair pull or a push, but she certainly got behind Mency easily. Hair pull, maybe a jersey tug, something right there. Definitely agitated Dudley, disrupted her flow. Still was able to get a touch on it, but yeah, that was definitely something that did not sit well with the young freshman. The grad student giving the freshman a little lesson right there. Telling her, hey, I can get away with some stuff, apparently.
Where she is so dangerous running downhill. And now again, but the flag goes up. Offsides called on Dudley.
Now J.C. Rivero's going to tell her, look, don't kick the ball after we blew the whistle. This is something for a freshman, you know. I understand you're frustrated at the moment, but you can't let that carry over into the next play. She is just barely offsides, I think. It was close. I'll give her that.
It's definitely close.
Dudley's just got to be careful here. You just do not want to get into a shouting match with the official.
Staying composed. And that's one Brian Penske has told us with Jordan Dudley. Off the pitch, very quiet demeanor, but when she gets on the field, we saw it right there. Silent killer, no more.
He even told us there's a dark side that comes out of Jordan Dudley, and that's that competitiveness. Because when she has that in her brain, there's nothing really that slows her down.
That looks like a shot that got away. On the field, they'll call
it a handball. Looks like the extended arm of Sydney Segala off the pass from Ellie Slensky. So a couple of opportunities with getting disrupted by the whistle for both sides.
Okay, trying to pick out the pass to Beata Olsen, just bounces over her head, out for a throw.
You traditionally see, obviously, on these goal kicks, everybody will just create a big mosh pit, obviously, in the center of the field. But Florida State, they like to put, you know, a couple of backers there right next to Roquet, really build the possession up from the back, or find something a little bit more towards the sidelines. It's also that aggressive nature by BC of getting in position and marking everybody on those goal kicks.
BC's been working hard early. We're halfway through this first half. Happy you're here joining us. Flag is up again for offsides. Beat Olsen a little too quick.
Yeah, clearly offsides here by Olsen. At least 2 steps, I would even say, ahead of the back line of BC.
Ball driven in from Mency. Taking around in the box, cleared away from Nesbeth. Govan goes for a rip.
Great tackle by Huff there, getting in the way of that attempted shot. And Mency with a really strong long ball. Always has that in her arsenal.
Out for a goal kick. Excuse me, Roque directing traffic. High press.
She's trying to draw Strycek off of Sophia Wynn.
Really been causing problems getting out of their own end, but here's Olsen, good touch. Dudley inside. Segala, she's been all over. Mention her being a track star before Jason Lowe, because she's one of the fastest players in the country.
She also has such smooth movement, smooth rhythm to her running ability, Jack, and that's why she's been so good on the defensive side of things for BC. As you see mass substitutions coming in for Florida State.
4 on, 4 off. EY, Echegini, Olsen, and Huff all checking out. Pace, Alagoa, Zapay, and Farkas checking in the game. That ball just out of the reach of Ava Feely. Also checked in, 7 games played for her this season, 8 minutes last game versus Notre Dame.
One of the things you'll notice here, Leah Pace is actually now in the right back spot. She's traditionally a forward and also in the midfield, but with how thin Florida State is on the back line right now, Pace is so versatile that Ryan Penske has no problem putting her on that back line as EY switches over to the left back spot.
That was the word, Trevor. Versatility with Leah Pace all over the field. She can play anywhere, especially coming off the bench in that role. She's really taken advantage of the opportunities that she's been given.
And not just that, you know, Sophia Wynn over there in that center back spot, she actually had some time in the offseason when Heather Gilchrist was away on national duty that she actually worked in that center back spot next to Lauren Flynn. So she's familiar with that spot as well. So you have to be willing to show some unselfishness here on this team if need be. And luckily, these are probably some of the more skilled players in all of college soccer right here in Tallahassee.
Now Dudley.
That's
to put Zapay in behind.
That's a huge stop by Douglas because Zapay was about to jump on that ball.
Now here's Pace. Dudley lost it over the top. And another offsides call. It's a good idea from Jordan Dudley, trying to find the junior, Maria Alagoa.
Just a little bit stationary there by Alagoa, and as the BC back line just made a couple of steps forward, which caught the line judge's eyes right there, and clearly an offsides call.
As Beth throws it out wide, Segala. Cleared away again from Nesbeth. There's Dudley and Walk wrestling in the middle. We'll get Sonia Walk for the foul. Seminoles take over.
5'6" going up against 5'11". You need to be as aggressive as possible if you want to win that battle for the ball. And unfortunately, Sonia Walk a little bit too touchy right there.
Now Pace on the flank. Good ball. Finds Alagoa. She'll bring it out. Pace again. Alagoa sends it in. Mency clears. Now Farkas. Crowd in midfield, back to her. Boston College all over it. Able to get it out wide to Kenna Thomas.
Now let's see if BC will want to do something with this. I mean, there is a lot of space for Thomas to kind of work up the pitch with. Now she'll move up a little bit more. She's looking for a long pass, trying to get Streisek involved.
Feely inside, finds Slensky. Freshman back to freshman. Just a little too much. Goal kick for the Noles. We'll get a sub.
Number 0, Olivia Garcia. For number 10, Joey Brown. Number 4, Maggie.
This is the youth we're talking about here, Jack. Trying to get involved. You see Slensky and Feely, two Northeasterners trying to work together here. Just a little bit too long for Feely to get a hold of the ball and make a shot.
Already a lot of minutes here for Feely. Only 8 minutes last game for her versus Notre Dame. 20 minutes for Slensky. Jason Lowe rotating some of that youth.
Brian Penske doing the same here again with more substitutions. You're seeing Maggie Taitano and Olivia Garcia getting into the game. Almost everybody off the bench gets playing time for Florida State. And it's a roster, Jack, that isn't exactly deep, and Florida State traditionally hasn't been that. They're lucky sometimes to scratch the surface of 20 players on the roster in season.
Now Maggie Taitano.
But everybody gets their time, though.
Absolutely.
As much as you can. If you can earn it, you can show some skill, you'll get it.
There's a great ball over the top. Talk about the youth, Peyton Norris. Tries to thread it across to Garcia. There's one right there, Trevor. Peyton Norris, only 3 games played for her this season. 10 minutes on Thursday versus Louisville. Checks in already.
Just 28 total on the year, Jack, as well. And there's an opportunity that you do not see often if you've only had that amount of minutes. And so, that's a situation where I get what you're trying to do. It's hard also to pass up on a shot, but nice job by Sophia Wynn on the long ball here, just directly straight line. Norris times this up beautifully, puts a good couple touches on it, but then gets squeezed by Costello, putting the pressure on.
Couple more subs for Boston College. Kenna Thomas checks out. Jada Tuffin slotting in that outside back roll. Here's Pace. Yeah, Paces look comfortable in that right back roll. You wouldn't think that that's not her normal position.
Well, she's a highly intelligent player, Jack. I mean, she's a super sub off the bench. She was instrumental for Pitt last year when they made a playoff run. She's very opportunistic, and she's really good at killing games too. So when you have to kill a game, you have the lead, you play defense. And so what better way to showcase that when you have to be on the back line? That's what you're kind of known for doing if you have to play the back line.
Already a goal and 2 assists for Pace this season.
So it makes her and so many other players for Florida State so valuable. Not just that they could own their position that they're naturally gifted and skilled at to boot, but willing to also play a different position, not only just to get time, but for the betterment of the team. It's what makes Florida State such an elite program, is that they have the skill, but they also have the discipline and the willingness to play out of position. All in the name of bettering the team and getting to the ultimate goal, which is national championships.
Florida State returned to the College Cup last season, and the first under Brian Penske. Obviously wants to do the same this year. I mean, it's been an incredible start. We're now starting to see this turn into Brian Penske's Florida State Seminoles more and more.
Now, he wants to get in on this national championship action, Jack. He's seen this when the opportunity came up. It's too good to pass up ultimately. Got the late start in 2022. Went through a couple of difficult first few games, going 1-0-2 last year to start things off. Then they went on this offensive explosion starting over in Gainesville against the rival Gators. And they really went on a tear all the way really through up until the College Cup when they faced North Carolina for a third game.
Yeah.
And you just know those two go to war all the time. And in all likelihood, I would probably hazard to guess that they might meet each other again in the ACC championship, or at least in the tournament again.
That ball from Farkas in behind. And again, the flag goes up for the fourth time offsides. Trying to send Kaylin Zapay in behind the defense.
This is just the one thing that's keeping Florida State from getting out to a bigger lead. They're just, you see, not just 1, 2, 3 FSU attackers ahead of BC. And that's that youth up top with Norse, Garcia over there on the left, Caitlin Zapay, who is a junior, redshirt junior at that, but a sub off the bench nonetheless. And it's such a tough thing to draw up and calculate in the run of play, but Florida State just, their timing's a little bit off here in the latter stages of the first half.
Yeah, it was just a little too much for Zapay. She likes playing Boston College. Her first career goal came against Boston College last season. Seminoles took down BC 6-0. Tony Echegini with a hat trick in that game. Now here's Garcia. Into Farkas. Bounces around, Garcia trying to find it. That ball will go out. Boston College back with possession. Some subs checking in for BC. Ellie Slensky checking out.
It's going to be Riley Kerber.
Sophomore midfielder.
Kerber, her 13th game, Jack. And Lowe trying to figure out what he's got on this roster, too. A team that's, as we mentioned, still trying to find, at the top of the open we mentioned, they're still trying to find their first ACC win of the season. And that's really just been the thing that's really just been a brick wall in front of them, is the ACC. I mean, it's really just what it comes down to for Boston College to find a way to have success year in and year out. I mean, Jason Lowe's in his 5th year, and they only have 4 ACC wins.
Searching for that first win since last season, October 6th versus Syracuse. They took them down 1-0. But plenty of things to be excited about, Stu, for Jason Lowe, as we mentioned, this youth, and we're seeing it on display today.
I mean, you think about that. It's been an entire calendar year. It's absolutely insane when you think about that. But, it just goes to prove how difficult this conference is. It's the cream of the crop in all of college soccer. You have to bring everything. You have to bring your A game and be sharp. And teams will take advantage. And then you still have to consider lucky bounces that go through.
Now check out these passes. A little tiki-taka inside.
Yeah, really good quality combination passes right there from Florida State. Between Alagoa, Garcia. Zapay's in the mix there.
It's all those players off the bench.
Good through ball by Titano.
Now up to Norse. So shield off. That ball whipped inside, trying to find Zapay on the back post. And again, what we're used to, Trevor, another offsides.
It's going to be a theme here as we wind down the first half. Florida State just wanting to jump and get the upper hand, but BC just with a little bit too high of a press on that back line, and still holding strong, and it at least gives Villabrandt a chance to take a little bit of an easy breath and not have to make too many moments. Now that she's not capable, she certainly is.
That ball flicked ahead. Olivia Garcia chasing after, cleared away from Sydney Segala. Packed house here still at the Seminole Sports Soccer Complex. Happy to have you joining us Sunday afternoon. Olivia Garcia. Who is the number 15? Caitlin Zapay. I said There's another.
Florida State working out wide off the throw-in and just connecting passes where they may be. Garcia just working the line all the way almost toward the post, and Cepeda just does a beautiful job getting in position once again. Florida State starting out wide, working their way towards the middle, winning position as Cepeda beats Tuffin for that one-touch past Villabrandt.
So her first career goal last season versus Boston College, and her first goal of the season this year versus BC. Caitlin Cepeda makes it 2-0 to the Noles.
Well, Brian Penske has to be thrilled, not only for the fact that, you know, he's seeing his freshmen, his younger players, Cepeda here, who's come off the bench, obviously, in her career, get scoring opportunities, but the fact that they're doing this in the first half, and here they come with another run.
There's another break trying to find Garcia. That was clipped ahead from Costello. Sigala will take care of it.
There's that sprinter speed for you.
On display from Sigala.
But the fact that they're doing this in the first half, Jack, is really got to bring a smile to Brian Penske's face. Coming into the game, they only had 7 of their 28 goals in the first half. They've really I built this identity of being a team that can be resilient, that works through the issues or works through trying to get that first goal and coming out ahead. But it's also something that I don't think they are content with relying upon solely. You want to obviously get that first goal early on in the game to really wear down, really put a little bit of a mental doubt into the back of the minds of your opponent. This is exactly what Florida State's been looking for here the last several games.
Alagoa back to EY. EY all over the pitch this far. Started at that right back slot, now on the left, sends it in. Villabrandt out to claim. So time ticking down here in this first half, Trevor, for Boston College to come back, make something happen. What do you got to see from them coming up in this second half?
Well, first of all, they have to tighten up outside. I mean, they've really allowed Florida State to get some space out wide, get runs outside, and then even in the field in the box, they were just allowing Florida State to gain momentum as they pinch and close in on the post. Got to tighten that out and work the ball back outside and make it difficult for them. But obviously they need to do a better job of gaining possession, winning the ball, and find a way to get in deep. And I know that's not easy, but I think they have to pass the ball a little bit quicker, maybe make shorter passes. If you see a deep ball opportunity, long ball, diagonal ball down the line, get a run, switch it up a little bit. But they just have to be a little more clinical and mindful of those passes. As for Florida State, you know, really the only criticism I would say is just your timing. They've had too many offsides calls, and this game could be way out of hand. But they've done an excellent job for the most part defensively. Not really too many dangerous chances outside of a couple that Streisek had about midway through the first half. But they've been really solid all the way through. And offensively, they just need to dial it back and just make sure they're onside. Outside of that, it's been really spectacular for the Seminoles here in the opening 45.
Really has been spectacular. That 9th best scoring offense. With more, I'm Brian Penske. Let's send it down to Emily.
Thank you, Jack. Coach, not 1, but 2 first half goals. What made that possible today?
Yeah, actually 2 nice goals. Feel really good about that. Obviously, Boston College came in with a ton of energy, and credit to them, and playing a little bit of a 3-5-2 and in our face and making it challenging on our build out. So we've got to provide our team with some solutions there. I thought when we don't want to be a direct team, but when we play directly into the high line, if they're going to throw 7 bodies at us in a pressuring situation, we just got to play big, and we've got 3v3 up top. But we want to be able to come up with some solutions so that we can play from our goalkeeper and be able to build up the field.
What are you seeing that's pulling your teams off sides?
A little bit of a lack of awareness on our part, right? We got to be better at that. But Boston College's line is very high, right? And so, which we love that, to be honest, right? That means there's a lot of space to be able to get in behind. We just have to be intelligent and have to be aware. most of, if not all of those offsides that come from our forwards, right? And so maybe it's a deeper player, maybe it's a midfielder, maybe it's a wide back who's gotten a little bit forward where they've got 5-10 yards to run at pace while still maintaining an onside position.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, Emily.
Well, thank you, Coach. Thank you, Emily. An action-packed first half we've had here. It's 2-0 Florida State over Boston College. We'll be back after this halftime break.
The Ninja Woodfire Outdoor Oven brings 700-degree high heat you can't get in your traditional oven to your backyard or balcony. Go from dough to delicious in just 3 minutes and achieve perfectly cooked crusts and gooey cheese. Harness high heat for brick oven-inspired charring and blistering every day. Control the heat for slow smoked barbecue classics and add smoky flavors to any dish you make with the Ninja Woodfire Outdoor Oven.
Can't sleep.
Just a lot on my mind.
I can't sleep either.
It only gets tougher with age.
Mom, what?
Well, knowing Progressive can protect your home, auto, and business should help you relax.
Good, because I could use a good night's sleep.
Me too. You know how early a chimney sweep gets up every day?
Wait, is this all a dream?
Why would Jamie be in my dream?
I am America's biggest spokesperson.
Debatable.
I said biggest.
Well, he's got you there.
Your dry skin story changes from one day to the next. Try Eucerin Advanced Repair and switch. It doubles your skin's moisture and repairs dry skin over time. So tomorrow can be a different story. Eucerin, recommended and used by dermatologists.
Want to know why no one out Pizza the Hut? Pizza Hut meat lovers' melts are filled with almost a half a pound of meat and cheese for just $6.99. Enough for two, price for one. That's why no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Some washers are a little basic.
Meh.
But not this LG top-load washer. It has a direct drive motor, which means more reliability and less noisy vibrations. Plus, it has a slam-proof glass see-through lid, so you can always check on your laundry.
I guess you can have it all.
Now that's good.
Hey.
Yeah.
I see you.
Huh. They look different online.
Jeez. Wow, that's a lot of rolls. When you prefer dream vacation over a rental nightmare.
Gesundheit.
Let's get you checked in.
It matters where you stay. Embassy Suites by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
And we welcome you back in. Quick break from Florida State and Boston College. We'll take a look at the NCAA goals of the week.
The Ninja Woodfire Outdoor Oven brings 700-degree high heat you can't get in your traditional oven to your backyard or balcony. Go from dough to delicious in just 3 minutes and achieve perfectly cooked crusts and gooey cheese. Harness high heat for brick oven-inspired charring and blistering every day. Control the heat for slow smoked barbecue classics and add smoky flavors to any dish you make with the Ninja Woodfire Outdoor Oven.
Okay, again, this is a status bar, this is a search bar. Let's know the difference, okay? Social media. It can be overwhelming for a young homeowner turning into their parents.
Now, what does it mean to slide into someone's DMs? That sounds like a lot of fun.
Okay, we're not ready for that. As a team, we'll get there. It might be a fruit emoji, but that doesn't mean they're talking about fruit.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto with us.
Okay, do you really think we need 47 photos of fun dinner at Pam's?
Yes.
No.
They say Rome wasn't built in a day, but it could have been if they'd used Amazon Business. Discounted bulk orders on your business supply. For smart business buying.
Want to know why no one out Pizza the Hut? Pizza Hut meat lovers' melts are filled with almost a half a pound of meat and cheese for just $6.99. Enough for 2, priced for 1. That's why no one out pizzas the Hut.
Sometimes I need to paraphrase.
It's easy to make your work clearer and more concise. They're still your ideas, just shorter.
We'll definitely stay under the time limit this time. Better. Now, the biggest part of this assignment is making the pitch compelling for the judges.
You can use Grammarly to make your sentences more engaging, confident, and persuasive.
This is perfect.
94% of students say Grammarly helps improve their grades. Download Grammarly for free.
Huh. They look different online.
Jeez. Wow, that's a lot of rolls. When you prefer dream vacation over a rental nightmare.
Gesundheit.
Let's get you checked in.
It matters where you stay. Embassy Suites by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
Welcome you back into Tallahassee. We got a special interview for you here at halftime. Before that, let's send it down to Emily Peters.
Thank you, Jack. Yeah, we heard from Coach Penske just before halftime, and I'm now here with Mrs. Penske. This is Abby Penske. Thank you for joining me down here.
Thanks for having me.
And I heard that you had the team over last night. It's Parents Weekend, so you have taken on the role of team mom. Tell me how that went.
Well, I hope to give them a home away from home as much as possible. And we were lucky to have some parents come over last night as well and share a meal together and just get excited for today.
It's something that you like to do kind of throughout the season, throughout the years, just have this team over. And, you know, Coach Penske told me you guys are empty nesters for the first time. So tell me how it is for you to have this team available to come over.
Oh, it's the best. I mean, we've been fortunate to have amazing young women around our children as they were growing up. And now that our children are gone, all 3 of them in college, it's even more special in a way to be able to provide a real couch to sit on or some dogs to snuggle, a little dog therapy sometimes. So it's I hope, mutually beneficial. I absolutely love having the team over.
There is nothing like some good puppy therapy. I'm going to be looking for my invite after this, but
Two golden doodles, come on over.
Oh my gosh. So, and this is a year-round thing. So Valentine's Day, Galentine's, tell me about that.
We did have a really fun Galentine's evening in February. Watched a movie and all piled in together, kicked Brian out. He didn't mind, I don't think, but it was great. It's just trying to find as many ways to bring the players together and have fun, and I just love it as well. So.
Well, I'm sure it means just as much to them, especially those international players. So I'm thanking you on their behalf, and thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Well, guys, stay tuned for more halftime. The second half is right ahead, so stay tuned on the ACC Network Extra.
This October 10th and 11th, Prime Big Deal Days give Prime members exclusive access to 2 days of big savings, which means you're kind of a big deal. Prime Big Deal Days, October 10th and 11th, only for Prime members.
With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers across the country, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care. Here to be the fuel that keeps you firing on all cylinders.
Right now at Napa, get a 5-quart jug of Napa Full Synthetic Motor Oil for only $19.99. Or claim a prepaid $5 Visa card when you buy any Napa Gold Air Filter or Napa EnviroShield Cabin Air Filter.
Fun fact, people will still be impressed when you surprise them with a treat from McDonald's, even when you got it for free using reward points. Because no one has to know you got it for free. Earn free food with the app.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, and I saved hundreds. With the money I saved, I started a dog walking business. I was a bit nervous at first, but then I figured, it's just walking, right? Oh! No, it's just a bunny! Calm down, Taco. That just... Stop! Sesame, no! Walter, don't! No,
You're lucky you're so cute.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Your dry skin story changes from one day to the next. Try Eucerin Advanced Repair and Switch. It doubles your skin's moisture and repairs dry skin over time. So tomorrow can be a different story. Eucerin, recommended and used by dermatologists.
That looks really high.
It is high.
Whenever you're ready. Are there any snakes? Nope. You sure? Here we go.
It's time to push your limits.
You're doing great. Whoa, is that a buffalo?
Babe, that's a cow.
The all-new Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness. Adventure on the edge.
The Ninja Woodfire Outdoor Oven brings 700-degree high heat you can't get in your traditional oven to your backyard or balcony. Go from dough to delicious in just 3 minutes and achieve perfectly cooked crusts and gooey cheese. Harness high heat for brick oven-inspired charring and blistering every day. Control the heat for slow smoked barbecue classics and add smoky flavors to any dish you make with the Ninja Woodfire Outdoor Oven.
Parents' weekend here in Tallahassee. Kids are out as well. It's a packed house. Vibes are up. It's a good time. We're happy you're joining us on this Sunday afternoon. Welcome back in the booth, Jack Kavovich, Trevor DeGroat, Emily Peters down on the sideline. Trevor, we had a great first half in front of us. For the Seminoles, came into this game only 7 first-half goals. They already got 2.
Yes, exactly. The exact thing that Brian Penske wanted to see happen finally comes to fruition. He said the dam was bound to break for them, and boy, did it ever. And really, Florida State working the wide areas first, and then the crosses inside. You see Jody Brown with some space. Nice little long cross to the opposite side. Jordan Dudley, one touch, and then Garcia working her way down the end line here, closing in on Villabrandt, and then a beautiful job by Zapay cutting through inside there to split BC's defenders to get the second goal, and only her second career goal, first of the season. Florida State out to the 2-0 lead, and quite in dominating fashion with possession, and you can see the stats as well, Jack.
Yeah, we take a look at the stats again. Florida State leading in most categories. The offsides, though, Emily talked to Brian Penske at the half, before the half. 5 for Florida State, but that back line is pressed up high. It's something that Florida State likes to see going into the second half.
Just sync up the timing a little bit better. You know, Brian Penske mentioned maybe let's get a midfielder or an outside wingback to really work up, get a running head start. Maybe that's how they can offset that statistic right there, limit those offsides. I mean, as for Boston College, they just have to find a way to get their attack going, and Ella Richards has really been frozen out of the attack for pretty much the entire game thus far. She really hasn't had much of anything to work with. Really the only player with any significant impact for Boston College on the offensive end is Aslan Streisek. She has 2 shots, one of which on goal. It took actually Christina Roque to make a great save, diving to her right to prevent BC from getting on the board. So Boston College just really has not had much sustained time on the ball. They have to find a way to get that if they want to get one goal and then try to equalize as well. But they have got to batten things down outside and not allow any passing lanes for Florida State. That's how they've scored their first 2 goals thus far. Yeah, curious to see if Jason Lowe comes out in a formation change in this second half to try and make those adjustments. Strysek, as you said, Trevor, transfer from Alabama. She's been making her mark in this first half. But for Boston College, still looking for that first win. They're down 2-0. Boston College has never defeated Florida State here at the Seminole Soccer Complex. Also, Florida State has not lost a game when leading at halftime since 2010. So this is a dominant Seminoles team. They like to have their lead, but the story here, Trevor, too, as we mentioned, Florida State getting those goals here in the first half. But for many, they're used to this second half dominance. Yeah, it just brings to mind since 2010, death, taxes, and Florida State not giving up a lead at home. I mean, it's just really insane how dominant Florida State has been, and also obviously in non-conference, but in ACC play, they really amped their game up quite a bit. And for Boston College, I mean, you have to remember, though, a couple years ago, the last time these two teams played here in Tallahassee, it was a barn burner of a game. 9 total goals scored. It was a 5-4 contest that obviously in favor of Florida State, given how we just talked about how they don't give up leads and how great they've been at home. But, you know, Boston College has had the capability of putting up goals and putting up numbers. They just haven't had that this season thus far, on a consistent basis. And so they're just trying to find that secret sauce, that way of just getting more time and just getting more clinical finishes. And they just really haven't even had a chance to really get into the box, let alone, take many shots on goal. And this is now the time where Florida State really turns it on now. We talked about how many goals from first half to second half. This is where Florida State even puts up the pressure even more. Boston College knows what's in front of them. They have to dial it down. They got to dial it down. We'll see what Jason Lowe has in store in the second half. With more on him, let's send it down to Emily Peters.
Thank you, Jack. I just caught up with him, and he said, I don't really have many adjustments to make. I think our team has come out and played very well. I think Florida State has had to adjust a little bit to our team and the way we're playing. They're playing a little bit more defense than maybe they anticipated. So I'm hoping that our team goes out there and they just continue to fight, continue to play the way they are, and put the pressure on Florida State.
Thank you for that, Emily. That's it, really, Trevor. Continue to put the pressure. We saw it early on. I didn't think Florida State was almost ready for it right away in those first 5-10 minutes. Caught them off guard, a lot of errant passes. So we'll see how they respond in the second half. War chant going with the crowd. Whistle blows. And Taylor Huff gets this underway. I do agree, though, how what Jason Lowe is saying here, what he told Emily, is that we have got to keep the pressure on. You cannot just lay back. You're not going to win games that way by putting 11 back and slaying in a low block. You have got to go and attack, meet Florida State there in the midfield. Do not let them get a running head start here and enter your defensive half. Talk about a head start. Jody Brown. Track star on track star. Segala on her. Able to get the better. Out. Florida State corner. You think about this too. Jody Brown has not exactly been into form just yet this season, Jack. I mean, this is only her 8th game. She's been on international duty quite a bit here for Jamaica, and she's trying to find her form too. Wait until that happens. Low swinging ball from Taylor Huff. Now there is Brown. You mentioned the form, and last season 8 goals, 10 assists. That ball back post. Huff put one in almost onto the foot of Beata Olsen. Lauren Flynn was also there for a chance. Lauren Flynn as well. Take a look here. Great in-swinging ball on the backside. Both Flynn and Olsen just a couple of steps behind it. So again, Florida State really working the crosses here to get around BC's defense that's really just crowded the center. Ball lands in the crowded center, as you just mentioned, Trevor. Outpace, that's the start in the second half.
Great work by Nesbitt. That was a difficult ball to control. She was able to work it on her outside right foot. Somehow able to trap that ball and get it back into safer waters. Finding white jerseys.
That ball over the top. Sigala chasing Villebrandt.
Look at how intelligent Villebrandt is right there. That's how aggressive. We talked about how aggressive she is coming off the line. She's not shy about that. And she doesn't have a lot of room to operate there as well. She has to stay within the 18 if she wants to grab it with the gloves. And with Olsen coming down hard, that's a brave move, but something Villebrandt is totally comfortable with.
Some hand fighting going on in the midfield. Foul call on Ella Richards. I haven't called Richards' name too much today, Trevor. The leading goal scorer for the Eagles. It's been quiet up top. Only 3 total shots thus far for Boston College.
Yeah, Richards just, she obviously is a player that really works so well with the ball. She has an amazing quick turn ability once she gets fed the ball into the box. She's done a nice job also of growing as a player, of getting others involved and making contributions on assists.
Now here's Brown. Tries to send Jordan Dudley in behind.
She had such a fantastic freshman season with so many goals, and unfortunately had missed several games last year with an injury, and that kind of affected her a little bit, but she's grown through that. She's still scoring goals, but yet she's understood from what Jason Lowe told us in our conversation this week about how she's learning how to see the appreciation and the value in setting everybody else up. The thing is, she really wants to see everybody, make some contributions goal scoring wise. She has been, without question, the leading goal scorer and the main contributor, and that's really what's keeping Boston College from more success, especially in conference play. Just need more contributors outside of Ella Richards to really come through.
That's for sure.
Strycek, one of the players today that we've really seen kind of be the big one right now that has even an inkling of potential success for goal.
Now out wide, Van Zanten. She brings it in, finds Jody Brown. Here's a break. Florida State. Back post. Beata Olsen off the crossbar to Dudley. A cluster in the middle. Found Beata Olsen, barred down. Just bounces out, fortunate for Boston College.
High artillery from close range. Here comes Jody Brown with a good cross again. Florida State finding it. Olsen just too tall on the bottom part of the crossbar, comes on down, and Dudley with another wide shot. Florida State just not resting. They continue to press all game long.
Here is that continued pressure. Kenna Thomas able to clear.
There's Richards getting involved. Sometimes if you're not seeing anything, not so much action up there in your forward spot, come on down. Channel my inner Bob Barker right there.
For my mind, went with it too.
Yeah, Richards, that sometimes if you're an attacker just not seeing so much action, just get yourself involved. Find a way to get back on defense, and I know you have a position to play.
Now Cicchini with space. Again, try to find Sydney Sigala with a tough task. She's been great on that right side, right flank.
Yeah, it's been a busy day for BC's outside backers.
Round little flick, Van Zanten. Here's Flynn, tries to sneak it through to Echegini. Out wide to Huff, directing traffic. Now Olsen slots it across. Echegini, a shot on the ground, sitting down. Villebrandt, another big save.
Unbelievable save, Jack. Her positioning again saves her here. Another one going out wide. Olsen, touched by Dudley. Echegini slips and falls, doesn't get that one on frame, but still finds Dudley, and yet Villebrandt just stayed in that spot, and luckily the ball off the shot from Dudley, off the redirect, in great positioning, gets the gloves on it too for no rebound.
Got the gloves on, and now Sigala. Van Zanten tracking back.
Wow, great sliding tackle by Van Zanten. Timing on that could not have been better because anything more physical, and that's probably a foul. Poor touch by Sapienza. Gives the ball right back to Florida State.
Right back to the Noles.
There you see the growth, though, of Amelia Van Zanten, though, Jack. You know, she's certainly got so much more playing time. Probably didn't expect that early on, but with the injury to Claire Rain as she went down with an ACL in the opener against Texas A&M, allowed Van Zanten the opportunity, and she's come in and done a masterful job of being a stabilizing force, but she's got a lot of unique ability that she can work with the ball up the wings herself on the offensive side. Of course, she had that amazing game-tying goal against North Carolina on the road as the game came to a close.
A surreal moment for the freshman Van Zanten. Brian Pensky describing the freshman, just impressed by her maturity, mental and physical toughness. She's been great this season. And Trevor, next week, she'll get to face off against her sister, Kiki Van Zanten, playing for Notre Dame. They'll be in town in a couple days to take on the Seminoles.
Yeah, that'll be a Thursday night. You can see it on the ACC network. That'll be in prime time. And Kiki versus Mimi, that'll be a fantastic game. I'm curious to see if those two will battle it out, with Kiki Van Zanten, a great attacking forward for the Irish. And, of course, Mimi here on the defensive side. Another unique part of that matchup, not only the fact that both teams are obviously highly ranked, but it'll be the return of Christina Lynch. She started her career at Florida State, won a national championship with the Noles.
A lot of storylines to look forward to. And a stoppage of play. Jordan Dudley looked to be shaken up, on her feet now. Training staff will come over, quick check, make sure freshman is okay. It's gonna take a lot to knock her down or knock her out of the game. Dudley this season. Here's another look. Happened here with Dudley, just right off the head. A little shaken up. That was head ref J.C. Rivero called the stoppage of play. Dudley okay. He's averaging the most points per game in the ACC. Second in the conference in goals. I mean, this freshman has been nothing short of phenomenal. I asked Brian Pensky, did you expect Jordan Dudley to be this good, this dominant, this fast? And of course, he responded, of course you know that she was going to be a good player, right? But as a freshman, sometimes you never know how quick that's going to come. And for Dudley, she's just built different. And she's showcased it for us all this season. Our 8th goal coming in this game. Looked to be a takeaway in the midfield. Foul called.
Well, it's a really good, encouraging sign to see, obviously, your freshman already stepping up and making an impact. And considering, you know, how many upperclassmen are on this attacking front, Jack, it's really good to see that for future years, Florida State can be content with the fact that, yeah, we have weapons that can immediately be right on the pitch and get us going just like that. You know, eventually, Jody Brown being a senior, Oni Echegini's a senior, Beata Olson's a redshirt junior, obviously COVID years too, so she does have a year, at least a year of eligibility left. You know, last year for Florida State, it was the midfield. How are they going to revamp that with the departures of Clara Robbins and Jenna Neiswanger? But for Dudley, you know, she's certainly grabbed the bull by the horns here this season.
Now here's a break. Dudley holds a run. Now she's got it on that right side. Jordan Dudley inside to Nesbeth. Leilani Nesbeth makes it 3 for the Noles.
So many times this season it's been Leilani Nesbitt that's fed the Florida State attack. Well, she tries to do that same thing here with Dudley. However, the freshman with the smarts, realizing she had defenders coming down on her, she went right back to her favorite midfielder, her favorite holding midfielder, and Nesbitt with a beautiful left foot to the opposite side, far post away from Villabrandt. First goal of the season for the alpha of this Florida State midfield and Florida State back line and defense. Leilani Nesbitt gets the goals up by 3.
Right away, she pulls the purse strings, as Brian Penske says, for Nesbitt, and already Florida State attacking back, punched away from Villabrandt. Van Zanten battling, able to take it away, crosses it back in. Here's that goal scorer, Nesbitt. Finds Olsen out wide. Taylor Huff back on that left foot. Cuts inside, Taylor Huff. It's 4. The Tennessee transfer back on top for the Noles.
Seminoles are running wild, and Taylor Huff's as good as it gets for the Seminoles. And these fans are going wild too. Look at this, splitting 2 defenders, still finding some space and getting it down low. Villabrandt not able to get down in time. That's a hard shot from Huff. That's her 4th. Going back to back. Got a goal against Louisville, and boy, oh boy, this crowd's on their feet and loving every bit of it here. Second half dominance continues for Florida State.
The second half dominance is right. Fans are loving it. There's a reason Taylor Huff, top drawer soccer, ranks her number 24 in the preseason rankings. Ryan Penske just happy to see her wearing a Florida State uniform. Started off her career pretty incredible fashion. 2 game-winning goals for Huff to start off her career. Dudley all over this ball. A little quiet as of late. Trevor, you mentioned Huff getting on the goal sheet last game versus Louisville. And now again, expands the lead for the Seminoles. That's 4 for Taylor.
It's kind of worked in blocks here so far for Huff this season. Started off the opening weekend with 2 goals at the start of the year. Got herself, player of the week honors, obviously, right out of the gate. Then it, really came down to, her being a distributor. And she's obviously multifaceted in terms of her attack. As here's another ball, beautifully placed as Brown tracks it down.
Here is Jody Brown working in the corner, inside. Here is Huff again. Cuts inside, shot blocked. Brown again. Florida State with a lot more of the ball the first 15 minutes
but really
of the second half.
And just to finish the point on Huff here, Jack, quickly, is that, she's done an amazing job, obviously, goal scoring and down the line attack, but you can see how she works out wide well. She's also does a great job on set pieces.
Now Boston College with a chance. Strysek chasing after it. Van Zanten and Flynn all over her. Tried to make something happen.
Beautiful job by Florida State defensively. You have 2 players right there bearing down on Strysek. Strysek obviously trying to take the shot, deflected so she gets a corner.
It's Brown again, good little touch.
But lets it roll through both of them, and Pace is able to come on back and collect possession. So heads up thinking by Florida State's 2 defenders right there of not getting drawn in too much and avoiding that ball from resulting in a corner.
It's been 2 consecutive clean sheets for that Florida State defense. They've looked good even without Heather Gilchrist. He's been a rock back there for the Noles.
Well, like a lot of people say, Jack, best defense is a good offense.
That is true.
And
Florida State's got one of the best.
They've had just amazing possession time today. As you take another look here at the goal for Huff, great job by Olsen getting it down. Huff tracks it, great cut back. and just splits it. I mean, there's really not much else you can possibly ask for. That's just an amazing offensive individual effort. And Villebrandt, you know, you just have to stay, you have to obviously guard that post on your left side. With how deep it was, maybe you draw yourself out a little bit. It just creates a little bit of an opening. But again, that was such a hard shot. It's tough for the 6-foot German to get down and get a hand on that.
She's been great, Huff. Now Dudley finds Brown in behind, one-on-one. Makes the move, Jody Brown. What a great play coming back on defense. Sarai Costello.
The aggressiveness of Dudley. And a knock from Segala.
It'll be our first card of the game. Sydney Segala to get booked.
Got to admire the fight of Boston College coming back in support of the last second. Villebrandt way off the line, aggressive. Doesn't want to give Jody Brown a shot. Just taking a look, it's Dudley getting the foul.
Makes it so hard for defenders as Jordan Dudley with that physicality and size. And then you add to it the technical ability, clinical finishing. Florida State's got a special one in number 11.
Yeah, good job by BC of cutting off Jody Brown and coming back in support, but they still have work to do here.
Now Huff inside, Villebrandt able to knock it away. Another back post run was coming in, another look.
Take another look at this run by Jody Brown. Great through ball by Dudley, and Villebrandt just comes up, cuts her off with a pass, and it allows Costello and company to get Jody Brown a little bit off that direct line and win that 2-on-1 battle. So BC still showing that effort, but Florida State just pouring it on. They have all the real estate that they can work with.
Now another corner. Huff sends it in swinging ball. Knocked out and away. Huff reclaims. Whips it back in. Beata Olsen header. Villebrandt easy with that one. So Huff's been all over.
Outstanding pursuit by Huff of getting a second chance. And Olsen elevating herself as high as she could. Just got a little too far under the ball. Still, though, good on frame.
It looks a mass substitution again for Florida State. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 substitutions. Standing ovation from the crowd. Pretty much that entire attack in midfield.
Really, the only starters left for Florida State is Ron Ely and Lauren Flynn and Oni Echegini. You have a 4-0 lead. You can empty your bench if you want, by all means.
Absolutely.
And with how well Florida State's bench players and reserves are coming off and playing, you know, they got a goal, obviously, at the end of that first half. Brian Penske valuing quality time for those players off the bench.
Now's the pay.
Really important here in ACC play as we get closer to the end of the season here, Jack.
It's super important, Trevor, and there's a foul called.
Looks like that's going to go against Cepay. JC Rivera. Yeah. Let's calm down here, ladies. Does give a chance for Claire Mency to really put a long ball here, give Boston College any sort of
she's got a boot
chance at the goal.
The ball from Mency, pace getting up.
So trying to find Ella Richards, give Ella something to play with today.
Boston College will try and hold a little bit of possession.
Watch your backside, Nagy.
Inside, now walk. Back to Villebrandt. Now Tuffin inside. There's a ball over the top from Govin.
Well, that ball just took a wicked backspin, but here comes Richards.
Richards.
Step there, step there, step there. Let's go, work there.
And the flag goes up. Common theme guess on this side of the pitch, offsides for Boston College.
This could be the opportunity for Boston College with those mass substitutions by Florida State. Their starters could still get some work. The problem is tired legs. Florida State now the much more fresher team right now on the pitch.
There's a good little spell of possession for Boston College. That's what Jason Lowe is going to want to see.
And you know the game's really out of hand right now, so the only thing you can really do is take it one sequence at a time. He's obviously trying to will his team on. Now, you recognize the talent that Florida State possesses. You know it's going to be an uphill climb, an uphill battle. Execution just has not been there, and Florida State obviously has just won the ball so much today.
Segala got a foot in. Not enough. Florida State with Roque. Pings it to Pace. Foul called. That goes against Jada Tuffin.
Can you find Ron? Good ball, Maggie.
EY out wide.
A little bit off on that give and go, but you see just how quickly it formulates in Florida State's mind. It's so hard to keep up with that kind of pace and mentality.
Good touch ahead from Farkas. Eyes up into the box. Ball delivered. Villabran off for a line. It's a good idea. Lily Farkas send one in, tried to find Caitlin Zappe, looking for her second. Zappe. Back with Flynn. Here's some more pressure now, BC.
Florida State really stretched out wide here with Flynn and Titano really the only two defenders. Here comes Norris.
Trying to draw Norris off sides, but Villabran way off her line. Just talk about intelligent keeper, reading that play all the way out to clear. Claire Mency is trying to create a little offsides trap. Peyton Norse instead kept her on, saved by her keeper.
We'll say, you know, Mency and that back line have done a nice job of getting Florida State offsides and really bringing it up, as now BC will have multiple subs enter the game.
Bunch of subs for BC, some freshmen back in. Maddie Landers checks in the first time. Ella Slensky back in, and Ava Feely. So 3 freshmen checking in. We mentioned that youth. Here they are on display. Now Zappe on the break. Finds Olsen sprinting. Back to EY, making some runs. Look at Farkas directing traffic.
And once again,
offsides. So some good ideas all around from Florida State. Heads up, looking to get those runs in behind.
Yeah, you see Farkas there running across to the left, clearly behind BC's back line. And it'd be one thing if Florida State, if this game was much closer, and maybe that's a theme of or something Brian Penske would give his team a talking to. But when you're up 4-0, you really don't have to say too much. Just get your timing synced up right, and that'll correct itself.
No complaints. They just want to score goals.
It's kind of funny, Jack, when Brian was talking to us this week and how, reflecting back on the Louisville game, they scored both of their goals kind of with fortunate bounces. And you know, sometimes you need those to come away with victory. And you know, he told us, though, we will apologize to nobody when scoring in this league. Doesn't matter how you get them, you get them. And so, you know, today has obviously been quite a showcase. They've really been putting on an offensive clinic. As BC, though, gets a chance.
Now Segala trying to make something happen, putting that into the box, and a foul.
Once again on Tuffin there. She is
a little too tough.
Crossed Leah Pace up a couple times now here the last few minutes.
And a yellow card will come out for Tuffin.
BC's usually pretty good, Jack, about staying out of the books. This is 2 yellow cards now.
5 yellows on the season coming into this game. There's 2 today.
So they usually do a good job of staying out of the principal's office. This, however, is a case where Florida State is just so well structured offensively that they force you to try and stop them. And you obviously have to increase the acceleration in your defense, but it could lead to situations like that. You can't let frustration boil over.
Especially when Florida State still pepper in the net. Here's Olsen. Maddie Landers. Call a push against Zappe. So again, Claire Mency may look to boot one way down into Florida State territory. Cleared away, back to the feet of Slensky, out wide. Here's Streisig. That one just got away.
Hey, we don't need to overplay though.
A sub for Boston College. Ava McNeil checks in the game for her first time.
Yeah, BC, you can tell now they're just getting, you can tell they've been worn down. And Florida State, no matter how much they're up by or if it's tied up, you know, one of the core elements of every single game that they go into is to wear their opponent down. And they do that through their possession. They do that by also being suffocating on defense. They have almost an endless battery that rarely slows down. And then not only do they keep that energy up, Jack, they're so technical and crisp in their passing, in their tackling. It really is a mental form of attrition here. And another tackle against Pace.
Another foul. That goes against Pace. She's looked great filling in on that right back spot. As we mentioned, a little different role for her, but how versatile she is. Another look at this foul.
You need to send an ice bath, maybe not just here into the facility. Give her that as a birthday present or a Christmas gift. My goodness. She is taking a couple knocks, and that's a red card.
And there's a red. That's the second yellow of the game for Tuffin. So Jada Tuffin, the freshman, no red cards on the season coming in for Boston College, and there's the first. So down to 10 for the remaining just about 19 minutes or so of this second half. What was already a tough task for Boston College has now become tougher.
You have to show fight against Florida State. You just can't get out of your form too much, and you have to be smart about it. And you know, Tuffin, she's just working so hard to try and keep pace. Florida State's just run all over the place on her and BC's D.
So here's the set piece, lofted in, punched away from Villabrandt.
Looked like Zappe got a shot there.
Zappe tried to get it back in. Now Lauren Flynn and Segala battling.
Yeah, it'll be extremely difficult now for Boston College. Down one player. Florida State could really just cruise now if they really wanted to. So Tuffin gets the card. It's the 72nd minute. Seems like this has been going on for a while.
Now Garcia. Seminoles want more.
And yet there's still 18 minutes left in the second half, Jack, so BC's just got to strap their seatbelts in and just hang on.
It's a lot to ask. Farkas dancing. That ball, we'll call another offsides. With some more on Lauren Flynn, let's send it down to Emily.
Jack, I talked to Coach Penske about the leadership on this team this year, and he said we have a lot of different types of leaders. He said Taylor Huff leads by example, Beata leads with her voice and her energy, Leilani has the voice and energy and a physical toughness, a tactical brain. Roquet has a quiet ice in her veins, calmness about her, but the one that is starting to separate herself in a unique way is Lauren Flynn. When Lauren gets into a comfortable and confident place, she's smiling, she's competitive, and she's bringing a positive energy to her team, and I think her team thrives when she's in it.
They're definitely thriving right now, Emily. Lauren Flynn, there's a reason Top Drawer Soccer put her in their best 11. So great back there in that center back role. And you mentioned it too, Emily, all the leaders on this team, there's so many different ones that do so many different things for the Seminoles. Now it's great to see Lauren Flynn even playing with more confidence than she already had.
Well, the Seminoles, Jack, have really had such a history of elite center backs and also outside backs as of late, especially in the last several years.
Oh, no doubt. Look at this, though. Peyton Norse. Interception. Taryn Olsen. Olsen, little fake. Not able to capitalize. But you said it, Trevor. Yeah, this Florida State, the history goes deep with the talent that's come through here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, just so many elite players. Emily Madrill comes to mind. Malia Berkeley, who's a professional now. Talk about outside backers like Megan Payne, Kristen Pavlivsko, Alia Cuica, another center back from the 2018 National Championship team. I mean,
Clara Robbins last year.
Robbins, you know, is obviously a shifting midfielder, but can
all
play
over.
in the back too, all over. I mean, such pedigree here for the Seminoles, and Lauren Flynn's building herself into one of those.
Another ball look to get in behind to Garcia. Sigala, as she's done all game. Busy. Alagoa. She'll look to shoot. Easy save for Villabrandt.
Alagoa, one of the two goal scorers against Louisville. Of course, has the long range distance. Star over there internationally in her native Portugal.
Portugal national team member. Alagoa, one of those pieces coming off the bench for Brian Penske. As you said, Trevor, 2 goals on the season last week versus Louisville. Another good piece that's been great. Off the bench, taking advantage and capitalizing on those minutes she's got.
And she really lit up this crowd as a freshman with an amazing goal against Alabama early in the 2021 season.
Now EY, overlapping run from Flynn. Left foot boot inside, Norris! There it is, the first career goal for the freshman. How about that, 5-0 to the Seminoles.
The crosses are killing the Eagles today. Lauren Flynn way off the spot as a center back, and all it takes is on the upper thigh there of Norse to get across to Villabrandt. Just doesn't judge it well to get herself in the right spot. But how about Peyton Norse, the freshman out of Denver, Colorado, coming up from the mountains here to sunny Tallahassee, Florida. Another first-time goal scorer here this season. First it was Nesmith, now it's Norse. 11th different goal scorer, Jack, this season for the Seminoles, and all that's left is to tick this clock down for it to be over.
And Caitlin Zapay, too. So multiple Seminoles getting involved. It's what makes them so dangerous on attack. Defensively, as you said, Trevor, it's been the crosses that have been the problem for Boston College. Down these wings and down the flanks.
I actually have to update my numbers. That's the 12th different goal scorer now, so I appreciate you helping me out there, partner.
That's what I'm here for.
You got it, man.
Here's Norse. Now some good movement from the Noles. Back inside to Farkas. Takes it back. She's dancing around.
Think she wants to get a first goal of the year, Jack?
I think so. Keep adding to the total. So patient play from Florida State.
Yeah, BC now just putting 10 behind the ball, and you have McNeil up there, up top.
And unfortunately for Boston College, garnering a red card early, mid through this second half. So now that press that we saw early on, Trevor, is kind of dissipated. Hard to do that.
Yeah, correct. You really have to play everybody behind now. It's 9 behind the ball with the red card, obviously, as you mentioned. Just going to open up more spaces if you become more deliberate and more aggressive.
Maggie Titano tried to make something happen at the halfway line. Villebrand out the claim. So Vivka trying to direct traffic. Boots it away. Here's another look at that goal.
And this is just what happens when you have basically 3 on your defensive line, on the back line, and Florida State's just taking advantage, and they will pick you apart on the outside if they want to play that way. I think so much has been made of Florida State being a little bit more direct, playing through the center a little bit, opening up seams as much as they can through the center, and I think BC is really just wanted to, hunker down and really lock down the middle, and understandably so. But again, Florida State contains so much speed, and it can be displayed anywhere. And they've really spread BC out enough to really find the openings there on the outside and then back into the middle.
They've been dangerous on the flanks as they are now. Here's Farkas. Head up, Norse again! Make it 2 for the freshman. Oh, the bench is loving it. They're happy for her. What a goal. Peyton Norse take a bow.
For the Seminoles, rinse and repeat. But this time it's a little bit more toward the top of the box. Farkas, all the open space you could ask for. Easy pass, too much in front of Norse, and just one times this shot beautifully across post to post. Villebrand just probably would want to tap out at this point, but I know she's made of the right stuff. She doesn't want to go down and find an easy way out of this game, but this is an onslaught by Florida State.
Deja vu for Boston College, the 2022 6-0 again in favor of the Seminoles. How about Peyton Norse coming into this one, only 28 minutes on the season. Coming in up top, Garcia hustling after that ball, go out for a corner, but Peyton Norse, freshman out of Denver, Colorado, looking great that first time finish. But Trevor, you gotta love the reaction from her teammates on the bench. I think the entire Florida State bench got up off their feet, ran down, and were dancing on the sidelines for her.
Oh, just look, I know a lot of, you probably notice obviously in a lot of soccer games that a lot of the players on the bench will be standing so much that they'll react, obviously will each other on. Florida State tends to be more professionally minded. As Villebrand makes the save, that they kind of sit down, they obviously take a breather, but when you see a baby freshman come in here and start having a day for herself, that'll definitely get everybody juiced up. It really speaks from how much this program cares about each other, how the players and the coaches care about each other. You see that, obviously, what it means to see everybody finding a way onto the score sheet.
Absolutely, and we talk so much about freshman Jordan Dudley and what she's done this season, but have a game, Peyton Norse. Now here's Boston College on the sideline. Drop back to Maggie Titano. So for Boston College, that first ACC win of the season, it's not going to come today, but coming up for them, Louisville, Wake Forest, Virginia. So obviously the talent we've spoke in the ACC is deep, but potentially a chance for them to sneak out with at least a point, or maybe that elusive first win in conference play.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to place bets or something, I would probably say Louisville might be their best shot to get to come back home.
That ball inside, Norse. She wants more, Trevor.
She wants a hat trick is what she wants.
And here's a mass substitution for Boston College. We'll also get a goalkeeper change, so Villebrandt will check out of the game.
Looks like Nahas,
Haven Nahas, the junior, will check in. That's one thing, I mean, we've spoken so much about Villebrandt and Jason Lowe, all the praise for her. A former goalkeeper himself at Wake Forest, but he even said, Trevor, he'll take his 3 goalkeepers on this roster over any in this conference.
Yeah, it's so tough, and it's so tough today with Florida State. This is as clean of a game as they've played all season, Jack. Obviously the performance they've been really looking for all year, top to bottom. They've really exhausted
now
BC.
Garcia.
Nahas makes the save.
Her first save of the year, first minutes for Nahas. Junior checking in.
And Coach Lowe really admires what goalkeeper coach Dirk Vandeveer has really done with his group. And I mean, you may not see it maybe in the stats for Villebrandt, but there's no doubt what she has meant to this program. She's really not only been a fantastic keeper in net, she's done an amazing job of ingratiating herself on campus. She really knows a lot of people. She's very involved.
Over the top ball, corralled by Nahas.
As Emily's mentioned, obviously she has a really good high intelligence. She's got close to a 4.0 GPA. English being her second language. You see Dirk Vandeveer right there. It's just really been a difficult day to really showcase what BC's all about when Florida State's just been as sharp as they've been.
Now EY charging down that left side. Sarai Costello, all taken away from Alagoa. Costello and Neil, I haven't said much on the defense, but he's one that Jason Lowe says the unsung hero of that back line is a pace shot off the side net. But Costello, junior out of Canton, Mass, played every minute this year, almost 1,600 minutes last season. Just locked down that back line for Boston College. Unfortunately, had their hands full today.
Yeah, really, he called her the most consistent defender on this roster. Has been there since the beginning for her career. But yeah, this is definitely going to be something that BC, I don't know if they want to really study this or just bury it, to how they go into the last 4 games of this regular season, Jack. Be curious to see how he enters this week off this game and how they can get this one out of their mind a little bit and just refresh, refocus, just try and find a win somewhere on this schedule. But the really thing you have to really just boil it down to is one step at a time and try to improve and be better than you were before. This one will definitely be one that they look into the mirror with.
No doubt. Here's Garcia working on Thomas. Brings inside. Norse. Cleared away. Especially with this game, Trevor, you know what you're getting yourself into with Florida State. There's a reason they're ranked number 2 in the country. Dominant as they come. You take away some things from this game, some learning experiences, and you move on and hope to get that win in the next one. That ball claimed by Nahas.
I think if you have to look at the matchup of today, it's obviously Florida State's outside attackers against BC's back line. And the one thing I think you have to realize, if you're going to play Florida State defensively, you better have athletes that can keep up with their attackers.
No doubt.
And again, I mentioned this earlier, Jody Brown is still not exactly full form yet. I mean, she's still been in and out with international duty, hasn't exactly had the most minutes. She's only played in 8 games now this season. She is the fastest player on this team, and yet she's not exactly the go-to player right now. Yeah. And you consider that with what Florida State also has out there, it is unbelievable and such a tall task for you to guard everybody and how well organized they are and the different ways that they can score.
Absolutely, Trevor. With more on Jody, let's send it back down to Emily.
Possibly the fastest, but the talk of the town this year has been Dudley and how quick she is. So of course I asked Coach Penske, which one is faster? Have you guys ever done a competition, ever put them up against each other? And he said, you know, the goal during the season is to get the best out of them, but also protect them. And he said, I might age about 10 years if I sit and watch them run down the field and possibly tear their hamstring. And he also said Beata would want to get in there, Echegini would want to get in there. They are all so competitive. So maybe in the spring we'll find out who the real fastest Florida State player is.
That's great, Emily. I could imagine from Brian Penske's seat seeing his whole team race. So that's definitely a race I'd want to see, and I'm curious who would take the crown.
Well, I'll definitely put the odds in favor of Jody Brown. But, you know, Emily brings up a great point of what Brian Penske is saying right there. Is like, look, and keep in mind, Jack, this is a team that has prided itself on bringing in the top international players across the world. They want to pattern themselves into the best professional team that you could possibly think of, whether it's someone in the Premier League or La Liga or wherever in the world that you want to think about. They embody wanting to groom these players to be professionals down the line. And so many of them have come down that line, and they model themselves after what do the professional teams do? What are the tactics? What are the preparations? What are the day-to-day things that they do throughout the season, off season? What is the program we want to be? And that's exactly what they want to be. They want to be a professional mindseted team. And you can't take chances like that in the off season. Sure, if you want to have a little get together and do that down in the backyard or on the track down here at campus, by all means. But it's a team that is obviously has championship aspirations. There's a championship mindset 365 days a year.
There's no doubt about that. It's all championship here in Tallahassee, and that's one thing that was great too when talking with Brian Penske and how he described how this team feels about how they want to play, right, Trevor? It's they want to play beautiful. They want to play great because they know they can, and there's so much technical and physical ability with the Seminoles. We've seen it full on display today. A 6-0 rout.
You actually mentioned it earlier in the broadcast about their statistics against Louisville, how they had about 560 more plus passes. They had an 85% passing percentage. Coach Penske told us that measures up to the top college teams, the top professionals, the top international teams. That's exactly what they're thinking. How do we measure up to the best that we can possibly go up against, but what do the best teams in the world do? And they want to be that in college soccer. And honestly, for the past 10 years, I would say they are the standard in women's college soccer.
No doubt about that, Trevor. Seen it firsthand.
Speaks to it with the 3 national championships that they've gone since 2014 and the amount of college cups that they've obviously reached. Deep tournament runs practically every single year.
So this one ticking down here in Tallahassee. Trevor, any thoughts on this one?
I mean, just back to the drawing board for BC. You have to learn from it, accept it, but just press on. For Florida State, the result they've been looking for all season, the most complete game all year, and they look real good